Welcome into the recorded on a Monday, airing on Monday, May 20th, 2024 CBG Podcast. Haven't done one of these in a little bit. Of course, the last time I did a podcast actually was on mental health, stress, and depression. This is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to really be talking about anything along that spectrum unless you guys want to. But no, I had a few things on my mind related to mainly surrounding nutrition, health and fitness, things that I thought might be helpful for some of you out there, because I know quite often I get people try to pick my brain, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's live in person at the gym. And so had a couple different thoughts surrounding some things and just wanted to share it with you because, you know, as you kind of go through this wonderful journey of life and all that it has to offer, you know, your viewpoints on things change, your philosophy, how you approach things. So, you know, some of my thought processes surrounding things has certainly changed over time. As I crack open, actually, this is my favorite name brand for a sparkling beverage, Waterloo. I have a orange vanilla, which I've had on this channel again. Or I've had it in the past. It sort of tastes like sarsaparilla. Yeah, Juan, I didn't even know I was going live today either. Welcome in, my friend. This was really a podcast I wanted to fit in at some point this week, and I was like, man, when am I going to do this? And I had originally wanted to get to it last week, and to be honest with you guys, transitioning jobs and all the stress that I had been going through that I shared with you on the last podcast, like I've needed a break. So I've just been a little bit more liberal with my time, sort of taking time for myself, which has been really good and needed. But yeah, it was kind of trying to figure out when I was going to get this podcast out there. Of course, I just went live and was talking about the markets. We're seeing a lot of great developments coming into the market. Bitcoin's actually just broken above $70,000, which is great to see here if you can see my screen. Usually CBG Podcast is audio only. I'm just kind of checking out the markets right now. Significant developments coming into the market. Bitcoin's trying to battle back on that BTC dominance. Well, if you ask Raul Pawan, he would say kava, right, instead of champagne. But let's actually get into a conversation on alcohol. Let's get into a conversation on nutrition, health, and fitness. Of course, there are a lot of misnomers out there among the general population with people that I interact with. So let me just start off and say, I am by no means an expert, so everything I'm sharing with you is certainly my own opinion. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. Everything I'm sharing with you is just based on the culmination of years of sort of dedicating myself to the gym, and then taking my nutrition even that much more seriously as the years have gone on. And so let's kind of talk about nutrition first. I think something that's sort of personal for me is given a lot of the challenges that I went through with my cancer diagnosis and then having my thyroid removed and really struggling to get my all my hormones at the right levels. Of course, I'll have a 6-month post-surgical update at some point this month. But, you know, whether we're talking about metabolism levels or testosterone levels or all your hormones, trying to get all that stuff in right back on track where I was before surgery, you know, it's also made me take a step back and think about nutritionally how I'm approaching nutrition in general. And sort of setting up some new goals for myself. So for those that don't know, you know, I've consistently dedicated myself to the gym for 28 years now. Next month will be 28 years. So I started weight training in June of 1996, and I never looked back at the age of 14. So 42, And so it's been 28 consistent years, right? And, I've been someone from a nutritional standpoint that's been always very cautious about what he's put in his body. I've never, despite some ignorant people out there that find this hard to believe, that with 28 years of consistency, you can have a great physique. Never touched any steroids or testosterone, TRT stuff. I don't even know what the shit is. People say names to me. I always joke. I'm like, I don't even fucking know what that is. But I've never put anything in my body, and I've never really taken calorie counting serious either. I've never counted my calories. I've just sort of educated myself over time in terms of what's healthy, what's not healthy, and always, and I would always tell people, it's funny how your perspectives sort of change over time. I would always tell people that I sort of just know what I should be ingesting, like how much. I don't eat until I'm like super full for the most part. I just know how much I should be eating and the types of foods I should be eating. But there was no tracking of any macronutrients, right? And so one of the things that I've really thought more about is how are you really, when you really think about, when you take a step back and think about your nutrition for a moment, and if you were to take your nutrition seriously, think about how you take your finances seriously for a moment here, right? Because a lot of what's on my channel all of what's on my channel pretty much is financially driven, right? The markets. How are you supposed to keep track of your finances, know you're financially disciplined, and know you're doing well with your finances, unless if you're on top of your finances and tracking everything, right? Well, the same could be said true about your nutrition. How do I actually know that I'm sort of maximizing my potential in the gym and physique-wise if I'm not tracking my macros, right? So one of the most educational things that took place when I was going through my thyroid surgery and I ran into the health complications that I have that I shared with you guys during my update in my January video. I'm going to turn off this VPN. It looks like it might be causing me an issue, because I'm always bitching about it. NordVPN, the VPN that always bitches out your connection. But anyway, one of the learning experiences was because of that health complication, if you recall, I had a chyle leak. And the chyle leak resulted in me being on a zero-fat diet, which was pretty rough. And I was actually, because my metabolism, and I still have this fear. I still have not gotten, I'm going to be doing some blood work next month, but I still have not gotten blood work that has confirmed that all my hormones are sort of where they need to be. And I think that's just going to be a year-long journey. I think this is pretty much just going to take all year. I've confined myself to that point, no matter how well I take care of myself. But because I've been fearful of putting on weight and all these things, I bought a scale. I never had a scale in my place. I've been tracking my weight. And I was tracking my macros for a long time. And what I shared with you guys was it's a very educational experience to actually go through consistently, in even if it's like 1 week, and to track every single thing that you ingest in your body. And I would encourage every single person here, number one, to do that. I remember I had a conversation with someone at the gym who I had shared this with. And she said when she started to track her calories, she realized how much she was overeating and sort of, she was essentially battling herself. She was defeating all the hard work that she was doing in the gym. And this is somebody who herself struggles with some hypothyroidism issues. And she's always working out very hard in the gym. I've shared with her, I really admire her dedication. But she was shooting herself by overeating, and she never knew it until she weighed her food. So I would definitely encourage you guys to do that. But I eventually got off of weighing my food. I just got sick of it, quite honestly. But I've sort of reinstituted that within my daily routine. So I'm back to calorie counting. And for me specifically, the motivation behind the calorie counting is because it's funny. I kind of look back on my life, and I think it's the whole getting diagnosed with cancer and you have an organ removed from you, and all of a sudden you have all these struggles in life that you never would have known existed until you went through it. And in some ways, it's not that this experience has, I guess in some ways you could say it's humbled me, but the entire experience has, man, I don't even know how to put this into words. It's almost like it's level-setted me, my mind. I can't, it's kind of hard to find, it's difficult for me to find the words what getting diagnosed with thyroid cancer and then having all the complications and it's hard for me to find the right words, but I'm just the sort of person that always will try to take something positive away from a life experience, no matter what it is, no matter how difficult it is. I will always take something positive away from it. And so with this life experience, the one thing that it has caused me to do is, one, to appreciate all of the hard work that I've put into being in the shape that I'm in. And secondly, it's caused me to think, man, you're in great shape. You've done it the right way. Like, you can smile when people don't believe you, but you can smile knowing like you've done these things the right way and you've had integrity and been a natural all your life. And I know there's a friend of mine who gets upset when I say that because he apparently tried steroids at one point, and I left him an audio message recently, and I could tell I ruffled his feathers a bit because we have a difference of opinion. I think taking steroids is cheating. He thinks to each his own. I think it's completely cheating. But anyway, I thought to myself, it also makes you think about how finite life is. I'm like, man, I know I'm in great shape for 42, and I feel, at least before my surgery, I'm not all the way there yet, at least physically I felt before my surgery, like I was 25. Like I would always, I could run circles around people in the gym, and I still do. But I was like, what if you took your nutrition even that much more serious and your gym routine that much more serious? What would happen? And so that's kind of what I've decided to do. I've decided to seize this opportunity right now to take a look at my nutrition and say, what could I do differently? Look at my gym routine. What could I do differently? And physique-wise, like, I have some specific goals. I measured my body fat percentage and body muscle mass for the first time. I can't even tell you in how long. I don't even know when I measured it last. I know what it is now. I know what my visceral fat is. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I know my visceral fat. I know my body fat percent. I know my muscle percent. Obviously, I know my body weight. But it's caused me to do a couple things that I wanted to share with you guys, and you can kind of take this away and think about perhaps, anything that you'd like to institute within your own routine, perhaps. The first thing that I took a hard look at dietarily, so I am counting my macros, like I said, right? So I'm tracking my protein and carbohydrates and fats and all these things. And I know my audience right now wants me to talk crypto because I see what's going on in the market. But beyond that, I took a hard look at my alcohol intake, and I feel that in many ways that I, over time, became too liberal with my alcohol intake. That I've always felt that someone with my relative activity level, and I've always felt this way. Before my surgery, I said, I always felt like I had the testosterone of a 25-year-old kid. I mean, I ate real healthy and took real great care of myself. No wonder that my testosterone was so high, very high. Metabolism, I never felt like I had an issue with that. But at the same time, I think that I allowed that to kind of skew my vision in terms of the amount of alcohol that I should be intaking weekly, right? And sometimes, when I'm honest with myself and I look back, when you're in a relationship with someone and you're always going out, and there was a time period there in particular in 2021. I wouldn't take that time period back for anything. I mean, it was one of the best years of my life, but But there were just a lot of happy hours and a lot of brunches with bottomless mimosas and lots of wine and then overdoing it. And, I look back on all that stuff, and as much as I wouldn't want to change the memories or change the fun times, I just think it was a lot of alcohol consumption. So one easy change for me that I'm making is, as you can see on the photo here, this is funny actually, in the CBG podcast, you see I'm having an old fashioned here as I'm talking about alcohol, and you see the Centauri whiskey. I love whiskey, man. I love whiskey. In fact, I just bought a brand new bottle of something that got good reviews that I just want to try at some point. So I love my whiskey, gin once in a while, tequila. I like tequila. I love wine. So I like that stuff. But I'm significantly cutting back. Significantly. I'm gonna average 1-2 days a week drinking, 1 to 2 days a week. But while that in itself isn't a significant scale back, it's really the quantity. So when you're tracking calories, if you were to track your alcohol content, it is eye-opening. And because I'm going to be tracking my calories and tracking my alcohol content, it's going to keep me honest. In fact, I think it was on Thursday, I came on this no, it was Wednesday. It was last Wednesday. I came on this live stream with you guys and I gave a toast. And I said, this is technically the last day, of this shithole job that I had with this shithole manager who was horrible. And I was so happy, relieved to never have to deal with that tyrant fucker again. Just, okay, do I have some animosity? Maybe I need to let go of that. But anyway, I had 2 glasses of wine, and it was like, and they were 2 generous glasses of wine, but between those 2 glasses of wine, it was like 350 calories for the 2 glasses of wine. So, it's really eye-opening. So I think one thing that's going to benefit my health moving forward that I've decided to do is to cut back on my alcohol intake. And it's also going to, if you, like myself, now that I know my body fat percent, and I have some specific goals with that, just to see physically what sort of changes can take place by, and we'll get into the health component of maintaining muscle mass, but while maintaining my muscle mass, decreasing my body fat percentage, that's going to take a lot of work for me. From a dietary standpoint, being strict about counting things and limiting alcohol intake. I say that only because my body fat percentage is already low, and I'm trying to shave just a couple percentage points off. And so in order to do that, there needs to be a level of strictness exercised with your diet, less eating out, cooking in, monitoring everything you're cooking, and then the alcohol intake. So I don't know, guys. Maybe there's pause for you to kind of take a look at your own life. It sounds like Juan does not consume alcohol. Good for you, man. At the end of the day, alcohol is a toxin. Okay, so I was never, and I actually went to a big drinking school, but I never was an big underage drinker. Even when I was turned of age to 21. I didn't really start drinking until, I don't really think until like my, I don't know, like maybe 23, 24. But I was never a big drinker when I was in college at all. I might have gone to like 2 parties and barely drank anything. But yeah, so alcohol I'm taking a hard look at. Now, in order to lose body fat percentage and to get more strict with my diet, but to maintain my muscle mass, here's a question for you. How am I going to be able to, if my body fat percentage is already low, and I'm trying to shave a couple percentage points off, and I weight train every day, I do cardio every day, what's one of the most important things I could do to make sure that I retain my muscle mass and I'm not losing that? Well, I got to make sure I'm intaking enough protein, high quality protein. So that's very important for me. So my body weight really fluctuates right now, and your body weight will fluctuate on a daily basis based on water retention. But my body weight right now is fluctuating between 170. I mean, in the past week and a half, it's fluctuated between 174 and 171 and a half in the mornings when I've weighed myself. So like a 2.5 point variation, anywhere between 171, 174. I'd like to on a consistent basis be at that 171, 172 range. Now, what that means for me in terms of protein is I'm looking to consume anywhere, depends on my activity level, anywhere between 90 to over 100% of my body weight. So anywhere between, roughly, let's just call it 155 grams of protein, and I'll go upwards of 200, just depending, again, on my activity level. So I'll balance, like when I go back on my macros and sort of look at things, I'll track it. I'm right around that, just over my body weight, 180, 185, 190, right around there. And then my fat intake, got to keep in mind, even if you're trying to drop body fat, you have to still have a nice balance there on the carbohydrates, the fats, and the proteins. Else I'm already struggling to get my hormones intact here. So I'm going to throw things more out of whack if I'm not consuming enough fat. So I am consuming fat. It's around 25% to 30% of my caloric. Let me see here. Is it 25 to 30? I think it's 25 to 30% is coming from fats. Let me check here. Low yesterday. Okay, there we go. 25. Okay, most days looks like I'm right around 20 to 25%. Most days I should be around 25%. So fat percentage is low, and then you got to keep those carbs up because that's going to give you energy, right? So a lot of good complex carbohydrates, your sweet potatoes, your canned pumpkin, your oatmeal, quinoa, couscous, things like that. So the other thing from a health perspective, now this I think every single person listening right now, this is something that you should consider. I don't care how active you are at the gym, okay? I'm as extreme as it gets, okay? I've been in the gym. This is for people who are not a gym person, this is gonna blow you away. I have been averaging total time in gym, so that's warming up, stretching, everything, 2.5 to 3 hours. Yes, 2.5 to 3 hours in the gym. So, again, I put in the work. But that's a segment of my day, right? The other thing I've been reading about is how important it is to still stay active throughout the day and get quote unquote steps in and walk. So, now something I've been a huge advocate of, I've had a standing desk for a long time, and I'm so happy I have it. When I go live on this live stream, I'm sitting right now. Actually, I'll probably stand up in a moment here. I'm sick of sitting already. I'm going to stand up, actually. For the live stream, I always do all in the charts. No, 3 hours a day, my friend. 2.5 to 3 hours a day. Anyway, when I do all in the charts, I'm standing, right? When I'm in meetings at work, I'm standing. So I'm standing throughout the day, which is great. I'm moving around. Human beings were not meant to be these sedentary individuals who were just sitting all day, right? It's one of the worst things you can do. I've said to you guys, shared this on a prior podcast that I'll never forget. Oh, excuse me. I'll never forget. Carbonation. I'll never forget that I read from a mortality perspective, it's actually worse for your health, and it gives you a higher mortality rate to be sedentary than being a chain smoker. So I actually bought a treadmill that is, it's one of those ones that slides under your desk. So if I can't get outside and walk during the day, I can walk during a meeting. I can walk while I'm reading a Word document or typing. Something else I've considered is my morning routine. When I get up in the morning before the gym and I'm in here and I'm charting or I'm starting work, I could easily get 30 minutes of steps in. And I'm not talking about aggressive cardio here, guys. I'm talking about casual walking, just the movement of walking. Something if you can try to build it into your day, and obviously for most of you, or not most of you, I shouldn't say that. For a lot of you, this will be challenging based on your occupation. But trying to get in like an hour of total walking throughout the day, I think is extremely beneficial. One of the things that our country in the United States differs so much from other countries, apparently, is how much we rely on cars. Other countries, people walk everywhere. You've got to include that into your steps per day. But something you really should consider is going to the gym for most of you, that 60 minutes, that 90 minutes, is that really enough? Or as good as that is, and I encourage you to keep that consistency with getting into the gym, getting steps throughout the day, not having that one segmented period and then you're just stagnant and laying around sitting all day. So something I'm going to try to get in more throughout my day are steps, walking, casual walking. I've been walking more and more and more. So that's something that I'm instituting within my own fitness regimen. And the other thing, and something else you can take a look at in your workout routine, I talk about weight training, but really my love is, it's not really, I wouldn't just say weight training, it's really just exercise in general. One of the things I'm taking a look at is how I'm structuring my workout program. Specifically, now, most of my workouts, I think I went through this with you guys before, but most of my workouts are supersetted, right? So I'll give you an example. Tomorrow I'm working out back and triceps. And so what I will do is I'll tell you exactly how I'm going to start my workout tomorrow. After I'm done warming up, I spend quite a bit of time warming up, so I'm not weight training for 2.5 to 3 hours. I spend quite a bit of time warming up. What I will do is I will start at lat pull down, and then I'm going to do some weighted dips. And then I'm going to jump back to lat pull down and then do weighted dips. And I'll do 4 to 5 rounds of that. But I'm really going from lat pull down immediately into weighted dips. And then I'm waiting like a minute. And then I'm going back into lat pull down and weighted dips and waiting a minute, maybe even 80 seconds. And then doing 4 to 5 rounds of that. So I'm supersetting everything. But the other thing I've really thought about is, while I do sprints, I do sprints twice a week, I'm trying to interject 1 to 2 other days where I have like a little HIIT routine at the end of my workout. And what is a true HIIT routine? A true HIIT routine is a high-intensity interval training segment that really doesn't last long and has a quick break period. It could last 5 minutes, right? It could be 30 to 45 seconds of performing an exercise or 2 or 3 exercises and doing like a 20-second break and then doing it again. 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So something where you're really out of breath and you can't talk. So that's something else that is very good for fat loss. It's something I'm going to be instituting into my workouts an extra 1 to 2 days per week, especially given that I'm aiming for a little bit of additional fat loss. And especially you guys that are, you guys that have families and you have kids and you have a wife, in the rarity that I have a woman on the live stream, for those of you who have a husband, you're more pressed for time, right? So I think some of these things with supersetting exercises and doing a HIIT interval routine can really save you a lot of time and you can still have an effective workout. So again, kind of key takeaways here before we get into supplements. One thing I think everyone here should consider doing, if you haven't already, track your calories. Do it for a week at least. Keep yourself honest with how many calories you're intaking and see if it really supports your body frame and your nutritional needs. 2, consider more activity throughout the day. Walking. Get walking in. Get a little treadmill like I just got. Get outside. Take a 15-minute break from your job. Oh, it's too cold outside? You can walk in your office. I'll tell you something I'm trying to institute at this new company I'm joining. I'm calling it Walk and Talk. I'm going to be meeting with the person who's in charge of culture initiatives there, but I'd like certain meetings to be designated as walk and talk meetings, and what these meetings will be are optional, completely optional, but if you want, what this is, the meeting organizer is indicating to you during a walk and talk meeting that you don't have to be in front of your computer. We want you to participate in a collaborative session, but you can go out with a group of people at work. If you're remote, you can go outside, take a walk, and just let's have a conversation, right? So many health benefits to that. You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone as well. Better generating, idea generating opportunity as well when you're out there able to clear your head and take a walk, right? But anyway, those are a couple things to consider. And then the last thing I wanted to hit on, I believe, with nutrition is consider the types of supplements that you're taking. So something else that I'll speak to real quick, I'll kind of hone you in on a few supplements I've been taking for a little bit now, and a couple newer ones, and I'll explain to you why I'm taking them. So one that I've been taking for a little while now, you should look into, is called elderberry. Elderberry is good for your immune system, It's good for fighting off colds and illnesses and things like that. It helps to essentially just keep a good immune system. Now, if you want something that is good, I've been taking all three of these for a little while now, actually. No, this one, I think, no, these two I've been taking for a little while. Both of these are good for testosterone, not supplementation, but testosterone support is what I'm trying to say. So even before I went through all of the health complications that I had, and I had my health diagnosis, I was still making sure that my diet and supplements supported a healthy, functioning body, right? So I was always in front of this stuff. I didn't want to wait until I had an issue and then look for supplements. So a couple things that I take: Long Jack. You can look into Long Jack, and you can look into Fenugreek, Fenu Greek, Greek, Fenugreek and Long Jack. Now, another supplement that is good for a multitude of things, including your T levels, that I read about because of the issues I've had with hypothyroidism, is ashwagandha. So I've been taking ashwagandha now ever since I got diagnosed with my cancer diagnosis last year. And then let's talk a little bit about recovery. So as for guys, if you're looking to, and even women can take this, build muscle, have better recovery, something I keep teetering on and off of is creatine. And actually, Nick and Cash Official reached out to me a little while ago. This is wild, man. I haven't connected with him in a while. I got to reach out to him. But he asked me for my opinion, and I know creatine was even something when I was younger I never wanted to try. Never, ever, because, again, my mind frame always wanting to be careful about what I put in my body. I was like, well, that's cheating. You shouldn't take... Of course, you're going to lift more. I didn't know anything. Creatine is a naturally occurring substance. So it wasn't until my young to mid-30s until I first tried creatine. I had the powder, which gave me issues with bloating. But now I have creatine, which you can find on Amazon. It's all the different types of creatine. But serving size is 3 pills. I did cycle off of that for a while, and I just started getting back on it. I take, right now, I'm seeing how my body responds to 1/3 of a serving. So 3 pills is a serving. I'm taking 1/3 of a serving, but creatine is a good one to look into. Look into HMB. Also for recovery. And then something very new, since I've had some time to myself here, look into Niagen. Especially for guys as you're getting older. Apparently we have something that you can actually test for. Niagen levels naturally start to decrease in most men beginning in your 30s. This is going to help at the cellular level with recovery, strength, all the good stuff that we want to be in good shape. So Niagen is a new one new supplement that I've recently been taking. But I honestly take a decent amount of supplements. I take a decent amount of probiotics, prebiotics, super B complex, and then a couple things to help support my hypothyroidism as well, in addition to the prescribed medication. So those are really some supplements that at least I take. I mean, it's worth at least looking into and seeing what you guys think of it. But who else do we have in the live stream here? Brad Pitt, when next crash? Yeah, I think a lot of people, as soon as they see me going live for the CBG podcast, are like, all right, we're going to be talking markets. Of course, if we do go over to the markets, maybe there's a little bonus content for everybody tuning in right now. Bitcoin's getting a nice reaction here. Of course, something I just tweeted out that I noticed is on the weekly, we retrace back up to this 0.786 fib retracement level. If this is still part of a corrective structure, it is common for something, you come down, you come up here, you bounce around the 0.786, and then you roll over lower. That's certainly a possibility. This would be the B wave here, but I don't think that's the case. I don't. So we'll just have to see kind of how this plays out. But right now we're getting a strong reaction. The thing you want to watch for is follow through here, really getting a close above. I mean, it would be incredible this week if we could get a close, at or above this level here, and then just create support here and then just continue higher. We'll have to see. But definitely some strong price reaction coming in here. Ethereum's holding up really well too. We're still up like almost 20%. So, oh God, what's up, Track? Good to see you, my friend. I didn't see you on the charts live stream earlier, my friend. You'll have to check that out. I thought that live stream went very well. Let's see, Juan. Yeah. I want to clarify again. 3 hours a week would be a low amount of activity. 2.5 to 3 hours a day. So that's why I always find it entertaining ignorant people that will make a comment to me that like I'm juicing or what needles I'm jabbing or just some bullshit like that. I think it comes from a place, obviously it comes from a place of ignorance, but I just love when people think that something is so unachievable. Like if you looked at a guy like the what the hell is his name? The liver, whatever that guy's name is. You know what I'm trying to say? Liver, whatever the hell that guy's name. I don't know why this keeps flipping to YouTube Studio. It's kind of annoying. The Liver King or whatever the hell that guy's name is. If you look at his physique, obviously the guy was on something. There's no way that physique was natural. I think he was claiming to be natural, and then he turned out to be, yeah, obviously. But if you looked at my physique, completely attainable. But again, I'm spending 2.5 to 3 hours a day in a gym. I've been doing it for 28 years. What do you think's going to happen? And I eat well. So, and that's why I'm saying to you, I look at that and I look at what I've been through this past year, and I'm like, man, I can achieve more. Like, I really feel like if I take my nutrition that much more serious and my gym routine a little bit more serious in terms of how it's structured, I can achieve more. My physique can be even better. I can be in better shape cardiovascular-wise. I can be even stronger, have more energy. So, I'm setting higher goals for myself. And I think that's important in life, that you never... It makes me think of Rocky 3. You never want to lose that eye of the tiger. And as corny as that sounds, it's the honest to God truth that whatever your ambitions are in life and wherever your passions lie, you don't want to get too comfortable. Change while uncomfortable is one of the best things that can happen for you. It's one of the absolute best things that can happen for you. Change is inevitable, change is necessary, and you should welcome it and embrace it. And I think getting too comfortable even with a gym routine and kind of getting comfortable with, well, I'm in good shape and things are kind of flowing. Man, I want to mix things up here. I want to mix things up. I want to push myself more. I love a challenge, and I love the idea that people kind of looking at my situation. I don't know what the hell is going on with this screen, why it keeps glitching like this. I'm going to do this and see if it stops. It's really fucking annoying. I don't know if you can see that. But I love to know that people think that being diagnosed with being hypothyroidic and having these issues with this medication for the rest of my life and going through it, that in some way that's going to inhibit my ability to achieve a lot moving forward. Fuck that. I think I can achieve even more now than I did before my surgery because I'm taking things more serious and I'm more focused. So I would encourage you guys to do the same thing with your passions and kind of use those setbacks in life as motivation. I cannot tell you. Oh my God. I don't think about it too much. But I can't tell you how many times I would go into the gym or how many times that I couldn't be in a gym because of my condition. And I was just laying in bed or doing whatever. And I just kept envisioning getting back and grinding. And so sometimes when I'm in the mornings, it happened this morning. Was it this morning it happened, or it happened the other day, where I felt like I was dragging a little bit in the morning. And I was like, really? And then I kind of went back in time in my mind to remembering what it felt like in that moment and how much I wanted this opportunity that I have right now to just be back at it full speed ahead. I'm like, man, you got to fucking seize this opportunity. And it just motivates me in that moment to just put all the laziness behind me and give it full effort, and wake myself up in the morning and get at it. So, sometimes in life it's just a sheer will to get through things. It's just the way it is. Oh man, Track, you just missed you joined a little late. We spoke all about that. So rewind, I spoke about fat loss because I know my body fat percentage and I'm actually working to just shave. It's already low, but I'm looking to shave just a couple percentage points off because I think that'll get me more from a physique standpoint where I want to be. But in terms of, I didn't hit on this, I actually forgot to. In terms of shedding fat loss, and especially for your abs, you need to be in a caloric deficit. And the only way you're going to realize if you're in a caloric deficit is if you're tracking your calories. You have to track your calories. So as much as it might seem like, oh, I don't want to go through, well, then I guess you really don't want it that bad. And plus, tracking your calories, to be honest with you, it's really not that bad. If you really want something bad enough, you can fucking go through the effort of actually tracking what you've eaten. And you can actually, on MyFitnessPal, you can set it up that if you're very consistent about what you eat, like if you eat a certain amount of egg whites every day or there's something you eat every day, you can just set it up to just enter that every single day so you don't have to enter it. But yes, for fat loss and and abs, diet is huge. You need to be in a caloric deficit. You need to have the right balance of carbohydrates to fuel your workouts, enough protein so that you don't have muscle loss, and enough fat so your hormones don't get thrown way off. And obvious cardio, which I spoke to, getting your steps in. I don't know, guys. I don't know what other thoughts, if anybody here has any thoughts. The only other things that kind of crossed my mind before coming into this live stream beyond crypto, I actually have been venturing outside my wheelhouse of always listening to financial podcasts and informational items on YouTube. And man, I really hurt my foot when I burned it at the beach a couple weeks ago. I cannot stand for long in this fucking thing. Damn. The only other thing I've been venturing down this AI rabbit hole and listening to some podcasts talking about how it's quite possible that we could be living in a simulation. That is interesting food for thought. Maybe I'll save that topic for another podcast sometime and we can kind of talk about it. When I'm measuring out my 3 ounces of whiskey. Track, if you don't get that joke, you'll have to rewind. Juan, you have a question. Is it fine to do cardio only? I really don't like strength exercises. Short answer is no. Longer answer is cardiovascular activity like walking or jogging or biking, cycling, using a stair climber, whatever you're doing, rowing. That's great, man. It's great for your heart. It's better than not doing anything. You're certainly well above the curve of the average person. And more power to you. I think it's great. The strength training, don't think of it this way. The strength training isn't to, I'm an extreme, I feel like I'm an extreme example of somebody who weight trains, right? I just love it. It's the biggest passion in my life. So me training, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to strength train with the goal of getting these well-defined muscles and all this stuff. But especially the older in life you get, for both men and women, for functional purposes, bone strength, all these things, you need to have some strong muscles supporting your structure, your frame. And if you don't develop some core muscles, you're going to regret it later in life. So I would strongly encourage you, in whatever way possible, if you don't like weight training, figure out a way to like it in some aspect and at least incorporate it. If you absolutely just can't get into it, at least try to get 3 days in that week. 3 days in that week, you're doing some strength training. What you could do is you could make those days total body. You could make all 3 days total body. You do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. You get some core exercises. You get a squat, a bench press. It's hard to get all your core lifts and deadlifts. I mean, you could get a few core exercises together and do them 3 days a week. And maybe maybe day 1 and 3 are unique and 2 there's overlap. I don't know. But I would definitely get some strength training in. There's way too many health benefits associated with that. And you shouldn't just be doing one or the other. Yeah, but getting to Track's point, it's I don't know if you guys have heard of the Mandela effect, where I'll give you an example, the Berenstain Bears. I always thought the Berenstain Bears were spelled Berenstein, but they're not. The Flintstones, apparently the Flintstones are not the Flintstones. They're the Flintstones, Flint. So the Mandela effect is where everybody looks at something and says, oh, I thought this is the way it looked or it was, and that's not the case, right? Everyone looks at the Flintstones and says, oh, it's spelled Flinstones. No, it's actually Flintstones. So I find that interesting. And then the other thing that I couldn't really, maybe I'm starting to go down the rabbit hole here of living in a simulation, and it'd be interesting to dedicate a podcast to this, but the other thing that's really interesting about a simulation is when you really think about the advancements of technology in the past 20 years, like I joke with you guys about, like I rarely game, okay? But when I game, here's how I video game, right? Here's how I game. Super Castlevania 4, right? This is the Super NES, okay? That's on my 17-year-old 40-inch plasma Panasonic TV. Yes, I said that correctly. But when you think of the advancements that have taken place from the time that I started video gaming to now, it's like insane. And then you start to think about how fast AI is advancing. And then you think about, basically, I think it was Elon Musk who said this, like, if we're advancing at such a high rate within the past several years, like we've gone from Pong in the 80s to fucking watching, what is it, Real World or Real Game? I don't know what it is, but the gaming technology looks so real right now. And you think about that and the advancements in AI that are taking place, and you're like, it's completely conceivable that there's, whether it's us or it's a different species, that they are so far ahead of the AI curve, they've gotten to the point where they could simulate a reality, and they could create a simulation. That simulation could evolve and create its own simulation, and then you start to go down this rabbit hole where you have a multitude of simulations, and where's really reality? Like, when you really think about it, it gets a little fucking crazy. It really gets a little crazy. And it's interesting food for thought. And it's the other interesting component to this is, like, you start to bring religion into this, right? Ooh, CBG's talking religion. But I shared with you guys when I was sharing the struggles I was having with depression and all the mental health stuff a couple weeks ago on that podcast. I shared with you, hey, I'm Protestant, and that's all true. Like, I absolutely believe in God, but that doesn't mean that all these thoughts surrounding living in a simulation, it isn't thought-provoking and doesn't make you pause and say, what if, and well, what does that mean? And I think that's what it means to be human. I think what it means to be human is when you learn these things, it causes you to question something. Keep in mind, any faith that you have, and we're not going down a faith conversation, but any faith that you have is literally a leap of faith. I mean, I can't prove to you that God exists. I can't prove it to you. I can't prove to you that Christ was real. I can't prove any of that shit to you. I'm taking a leap of faith that it is real. And, the same could be said true about a simulation. I can't prove to you we're in a simulation, but I mean, it's just interesting. It's very thought-provoking to kind of think about the way we're evolving, and if there is a species or an iteration of us that has evolved, that is further ahead of us, they could have evolved to a point where they've created simulations, which have created simulations, which have created simulations, which then, what is reality? So it's pretty fucking crazy. It also, the other thing, I was watching, kind of related to this, I was watching or listening, I should say, because most of the YouTube I do is listening, and that's why I like at least the format of these podcasts, because you guys can just listen to it. You don't have to watch me, right? But I was listening to, I don't know if you follow any of this stuff closely, but not near-death experiences. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who can recount past lives. Like, what the hell is that all about? You hear some of these stories. Now, look. It's the same thing with crop circles, all right? We're going to go down the alien path. It's the same thing with crop circles. Look, I know that there are a lot of crop circles out there, maybe the majority, that they're all human-made and it's all a bunch of bullshit, right? You can't tell me that every single crop circle out there is explainable, because it's not. In fact, they've done testing on some of those crop circle sites and found a lot of really weird shit with radiation, and if you actually look into it, some of the crop circles are not provable to be fake, okay? So there are some that are just unexplainable. Same with past life experiences. Some people may be bullshitting you. Some people may have a mental disorder. That's fine. But you're going to tell me every single person who came forward and told you about a previous life, that all of it is bullshit? I call bullshit on you. That's crazy. Especially when you hear some of the stories out there, and it's like, how could you fake that? So, I don't know. I've had some time to myself, so I've had plenty of time to listen to all sorts of different things. I've gotten off the finance path, and I started listening to a lot of these other things. So, Track is in the house. I like working out on one muscle per day, like chest, and one day shoulders, another day arms, another day, and so on. Yeah, no, whatever works, as long as you're hitting everything. I like supersetting, so I'm hitting 2 to 3 body parts per workout. 2 to 3 body parts per workout. A CBG gaming stream. Yeah, honestly, I think a gaming stream actually would be fun. I think I could make it entertaining, and I think you guys who I interact with on here are entertaining. I think it actually would be a good time. I don't spend my time gaming. Like that video I took of me playing Castlevania 4, I probably spent under an hour playing, an hour tops, and that was it. So, and the last time I gamed, I can't even tell you. I don't even think it was this year. So, I don't play video games. I don't have time for that stuff. And it's just, I could make time for it, actually. I just choose not to. There's other stuff I want to spend my time. I love learning, so that's kind of how I spend my time. The Atari 2600. Track, are you an AVGN fan? Are you an AVGN fan? And I don't even have to say what the acronym stands for if you are. I'm a huge fan of AVGN. Now, his more recent seasons, like, I think he's up to like season 17 or some shit like that. I don't know that I could get into that, but his older stuff was so hilarious. For those that don't know, AVGN is the Angry Video Game Nerd. All right, guys, let's see how we close the week out. Bonus TA content here for those who have hung around. Man, I think I saw Casper was even up today. Look at that. Casper's trying to get back up to 3 cents. Go Casper. Let's see. H-bar 12. Matic 75. Cardano and XRP are basically the same price. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, we had such a large movement up in the markets today. I would be shocked. If you've never heard of AVGN, the Angry Video Game Nerd, I just did you a favor, my friend. Go check him out. Start with season 1, where he talks about Jekyll and Hyde and gets into the Ghostbusters NES game and gets into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He is fucking hilarious. The Ninja Gaiden one was good. There are a couple of those episodes where I could just watch them over and over again. It was really good. Ghosts and Goblins. What was the other one? 52, where the 52 games and it had Cheetah Men. Super 50. I forget what it was called, but I don't know. He had a really good channel. I don't really follow him anymore. I watch a lot of his old content when I'm in the mood. So just to kind of level set, guys, of course, I'll be going live tomorrow talking about the charts. But what's nice to see here is we have gotten above this orange zone where I wanted to consolidate and a little quicker perhaps than I would have anticipated, which isn't a bad thing. Now, what do I want to see? Well, when we do come down at some point and have a nice healthy correction, I want to see the bulls step in, and I don't want to start entering this orange box. So I really want to stay above 68K. It would surprise me if we saw some candle come in tomorrow and we're all the way up here at 74. If you saw that, that would be a huge green bullish indication that we're going to be seeing new all-time highs. Of course, that would be new all-time highs, but I'm not anticipating some sort of big move up tomorrow or even Wednesday up towards 74 plus. I think we've got to spend a little time breathing and consolidating in here, guys. This was a big move, right? Check out what happened here, right? We had a big green candle up. We spent time consolidating. Big green candle up. 4 days consolidating. Big candle up. Let's spend some time consolidating. And then let's continue moving up, right? But I'll tell you what, based on the commentary I had for you today, May is setting up for a potentially huge bullish signal for June and July. We'll have to see. Quite often track the best times to be buying. You have to know what you're doing, obviously, but quite often the best times to be buying are when part of you questions if you're being an idiot, right? Like, man, I know this is right, but this feels so wrong. And it should feel a little uncomfortable because it's that emotional side to you that is saying it doesn't feel like the best time to be buying. But everything in you educationally, unemotionally, is looking at the chart and saying, I should be buying the fuck out of this. So it should feel a little bit like that. So that's normal. It happens to me too, honestly. Being honest, it happens to me too. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. I will be back here tomorrow for a TA Q&A segment of All in the Charts. I hope to see you there. If you didn't check out the live stream earlier today on All in the Charts, make sure that you start from the very beginning because I did have a announcement about some small changes I'll be making to the live stream moving forward effective on Monday. So next Monday. So, all right, everybody, cheers. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's all carry it forward. Take care.